where they intersect, moving off towards the east. Anything else you want to add to this, Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually behind me, I zoomed on in, Tim, to where we see that rotation. And I did actually get a report from a chaser named Joe saying that there was a tornado that touched down and has lifted, but has had a brief touchdown a couple of times. So actually confirmed tornado that has been touching down. Again, as far as rotation goes, behind me, you can see where Channahon is right here, just north and just south of Troy. That looks to be right around I-80, where that rotation is the closest as far as what we're seeing on velocity data, so where we see those winds come together. So I wanted to show you that ground level here. It looks like it is moving just east of Minooka. And as it does, you can see there's East Minooka Road. So where we're seeing this is right around this area. You can actually see that red outline there. That's our tornado warning box. So right along I-55, I-80, this is where we have that potential tornado. As I mentioned before, it has had reports of multiple touchdowns and then being lifted again. So this has been our only tornado warning of the afternoon so far. Of course, with these thunderstorms, we also have the threat of large hail. We've had reports up to tennis ball size hail potential with these severe thunderstorms that are happening right now. Damaging wind, we've had downed trees. And of course, if this tornado is on the ground as we speak, damage from the wind at this point. And it is, what, 3:13, so we're just before rush hour. But just to repeat, we do have a tornado warning in effect. As far as timeline goes, this goes until 3:30. So it is 3:13 now, so about 15 more minutes we have this warning in effect. So this is a tornado warning with reports that it has touched down and lifted and touched down again. Let's see if we have any other reports coming in. So it looks like it's wrapped in rain, which is an issue. We have had heavy downpours of rain. I'll zoom out the radar here so you can see what I'm talking about. But when we have these orange and yellow shades, it's going to be difficult to see because of the torrential downpours. So when we have a rain-wrapped tornado, even the spotters that are on the ground, it's going to be difficult for them to determine if the tornado is actually on the ground, if that wall cloud is still in place because of how heavy the rain has been falling. As far as damage reports go associated with this particular storm system, I haven't seen any except for just that one tornado chaser, Joe, who said that there was a brief tornado touchdown approximately 5 miles west of his location, which again, to zoom on in and show you that street level location of where we had that best rotation is going to be right near Troy. Now northeast of Channahon. You can see behind me I-55, I-80. This is where we have that warning area in place and where we have that best potential for a tornado happening as we speak. Did you see any new reports, Tim?
I have not seen any new reports, and thank you for clarifying that the chaser was confirming there was actually a touchdown. That's what I heard you say. Again, yeah, I'm just going to try to zoom down to street level as well here. There's Troy where you were pointing out, and this is along I-80. McDonough Street, just east of Troy, near the Joliet area, Preston Heights area. This is, let's see, Center Point Way. So just to give you an idea where this storm is located, this is where we're seeing the rotation. When we look for these colors up against each other, the green and red, that means there's inbound winds towards the radar and next to outbound winds, which means a sign of rotation, which doesn't always necessarily guarantee a tornado, but apparently we're getting some confirmation of that. So this is for Will County. We have that tornado warning in effect. And we've been tracking this one storm, Caitlin and I, that's been pushing through southern LaSalle County with this reports of some really large hail. This could be that same cell that is producing this tornado as we speak. So yeah, just continuing to monitor the chat here from the National Weather Service for any new signs of trouble from this storm, any new confirmation of touchdowns. But the latest, you just gave it to us, that this storm is located near Troy, moving off towards the east very rapidly. This whole line of thunderstorms was moving at about 60 miles an hour at one point. So you're almost guaranteed you're going to get some damaging winds when storms are moving that quickly. Outside of this tornado, the strongest wind gusts we've seen, we're up in Bull Valley, up in McHenry County, got a wind gust up to 68 miles per hour there. But again, this is the storm we're watching. I'm going to stop it here, right there to show you where that rotation is. And it's right in this area here, just between Troy and Channahon, moving off towards the east. So if you're in this area, you need to take cover. Will County, you've got that warning in effect until 3:30. You need to go into an interior room, or the basement preferably, in the center of the room, cover up your head and protect yourself from this very strong storm that's moving off towards the east. Just want to check on the hail situation again. So this is a different mode that we're looking at, different data. This is called vertically integrated liquid, which gives us kind of an idea of where there could be some large hail. And it looks like this storm somewhat has weakened, but there it is, yeah, out towards Marseilles here. this storm could be producing some dangerous hail. When it gets to tennis ball size, I mean, that could cause serious injury. So watch out for some large hail with some of these storms too as they track on towards the east at about 45 miles per hour. Any updates that you're seeing there, Caitlin?
I just thought I would give the brief overview of what's happening in our viewing area, because we've been talking about this line of thunderstorms that has been moving through. We watched it in southern Wisconsin, and that's where we actually saw the largest hail producing from these thunderstorms. But we still have this severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the entire viewing area, really focused, especially from LaSalle County down to Kane, Kendall, Grundy County, Will County, stretching into Kankakee and northwest Indiana. But where you see that highlighted shade, this is in effect until 9 p.m. tonight. So as this line of storms continues its path to the southeast, we still have that potential for the damaging winds and, of course, that tornado threat. But as I take that watch off, I do want to, again, as we have been talking about, as Tim mentioned before, the hail that has been produced from these storms could be doing damage. So if you are at home, if you're able to bring in your outdoor items, we encourage you to do so. Move your cars inside of your garages if you can. Right now, the strongest storm activity is actually in central LaSalle County. So from LaSalle stretching east towards Ottawa, over Morris stretching north into parts of Kendall County, and then as we mentioned before in Will County here just south of Joliet, that's where we have that potential rotation and potential tornado on the ground. As far as reports go, this was at 3:15, so about 5 minutes ago was the last report that we had of that brief tornado touching down. I haven't seen any additional reports as far as this storm spotter goes about determining if that tornado is still touching down or not. We had a report that it was rain wrapped, which means that it's going to be very difficult to see the tornado if he is still out there reporting on this.
So that's the report that you're seeing. I think I'm seeing the same one that was 3 miles south of Shorewood.
Yeah.
A brief touchdown, 5 miles west of his location. So
yes.
That was about, 15 minutes ago or so. So yeah, we're waiting for more confirmation on that from spotters. As you pointed out, that's a good thing to point out. When these storms get wrapped in rain, they're extremely dangerous. They're dangerous even without that, but you can't see them coming. That's what happened with the Plainfield tornado several years ago. That was a storm that was wrapped with rain. We have a lot of heavy precipitation with these storms. HP supercells, we sometimes call them, heavy precipitation supercells. And when the rain wraps around it, even the spotters have a tough time seeing it. So that's why you got to take all these storms very seriously. But again, I put kind of a track in this storm. I think Caitlin's been doing sort of the same thing, but we were seeing the storm move off, according to what we're seeing, about 45 miles per hour off to the east. So some towns in the path of this potential tornado, it's a tornado warning for southern Will County. It includes Frankfort at 327, 341 Chicago Heights, 353 St. John, and if it holds together, 407 in Hobart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to say, too, we just got a couple new reports coming in. So we talked about those strong winds out of Kendall County. We had a report just now of 72 miles per hour. That's a wind gust in Kendall County right now, 72 miles per hour. Also, we had one earlier at 61 miles per hour at 2:55, and that was out of Grundy County. So we have had these very strong wind gusts. And we did actually just get a new report for that tornado warning. It is moving east at 40 miles per hour. Located over Ingalls Park or near New Lenox. So perhaps, Tim, you could zoom in on that ground level near New Lenox where we have that rotation. So it's moving east at 40 miles per hour. We'll get the latest track. Yeah,
I'll zoom in on there. I just put a new track on it just to kind of update with the storm's movement. And again, this might not be a lot different from what I just showed you, but I just want to reiterate here. 321 Joliet, about 328 New Lenox, the arrival for this storm. If it continues on this path, Tinley Park about 342, Hammond about 403. So I'll try to zoom in a little bit here to show you where the storm is located. And right in through here, it looks like near the Preston Heights area, Joliet area, where you see that green coming against the green coming against the red there. And let me put this into motion here to see where the storm is tracking. I think the rotation, Caitlin, unless you disagree with me here, I think it looks like it's kind of weakened a little bit.
Yes, I do see the highest return still in that same general location north of Shanahan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, just east of Manuka, but that tight rotation or the tight couplet that we were talking about has weakened. And actually, we just got that confirmed from the National Weather Service over southeast of Joliet. It's weakened.
Yeah, there it is.
But with these lines of thunderstorms, this is what we expected. If we did have a tornado, it would be a brief touchdown tornado within the line, embedded within the line of what we call a QLCS tornado. We also have those warnings in effect for southern Grundy and Will counties as well. And in the verbiage, they say that there could be a tornado within there, but I think The biggest threat, again, as we were just mentioning, those winds at 72 miles per hour. That's going to be the biggest threat in my mind from Kendall County down into Grundy County and southern LaSalle County. So if you are on I-80, you have friends or family on I-80 just south of Joliet, I-55, this is where we're getting hit the heaviest and the strongest with these thunderstorms. The torrential downpours is going to make it difficult to see if you're out driving. Of course, if you do have hail on your drive too, that's going to be causing delays out there on the roads. I'm seeing other just tree limbs down, debris down. That's really the biggest storm that we've seen, or the storm reports that we've seen so far this afternoon. So it looks like, again, in Will County, 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts and hail bringing down those tree limbs. We did get the last count for power outages too. This has been an issue this afternoon. I'll try to get the latest report as far as how many people don't have power, but that's another thing to think about, calling in on those elderly members of your family or friends, because with these downed trees, we also expect downed power lines and many without power. Tim?
Yeah, I want to go back to the storm here. This is just west of Marseilles here. Let me kind of zoom out so we can get our bearings here. So this is southwest of the city. There's Morris and along I-80 here, but I want to point out this storm because we're getting indication this is still producing some pretty big hail. So zooming in just east of Marseilles, this is East 29th Street, North Main Street, just along West Bluff Road here, just south of I-80. Probably some large hail. When I say large, probably bigger than inch diameter, so this could be bigger than golf ball size hail. At least is being indicated by what we call vertically integrated liquid, which means there's a lot of moisture and something bouncing around within this thunderstorm potentially could be producing this rather large and dangerous hail. So again, I just wanted to zoom in on that. We've got the tornado warning, of course, as well. I'm going to go back to that. That's in effect for Will County, and then again, here are some of the towns in the path of the storm. Although good news, as Caitlin just pointed out, the rotation is weakened on the storm system. Doesn't mean there isn't a tornado, but that could be a good indication the storm is weakening. But some towns in the path of this include Frankfort at 3:30, 327, 341 Chicago Heights, 353 in St. John, and about 407 in Hobart. Just checking to see if we got any more updates on that. We got a report, and I'm sorry if I didn't hear you already say this, but in Elwood and Will County, Caitlin, Route 52 in St. Louis Street, train spotter estimated 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts and hail with some tree limb debris. So hail's causing some damage out there, also some of these gusty winds. But again, most of this right now is south and west of the city. We're getting a little bit of a break in and around the city itself. I'm going to go back to just the bigger view of the radar here to show you. We've got the lightning overlaid on that as well. But you can see the heaviest storms that were across parts of northern Cook County now swept out over the lake. A little area of some stronger rain here. No lightning being detected with it up across parts of McHenry County. They're probably looking at and assessing some of the damage from some trees down up that way with those strong gusts. But right now, the heaviest action is along and south of I-80 here, where we do have that tornado warning in effect. Let me go back to that to show you exactly where. This area shaded in red, which includes Joliet, Manhattan, Frankfort. That's in effect until 3:30 this afternoon. Another 6 more minutes. Not getting anything additional on that, other than the rotation has weakened. That's the kind of thing we'd like to hear. So no more confirmation of a tornado on the ground or anything like that at the moment. Right, Caitlin?
Yeah, and last check, 15,000 people at least, or homes are without power because of these storms that rolled through. And we actually do have a couple photos that we could show you, some storm reports that were coming in from around the area. This was a bowl full of hail out of Dixon, Illinois. So what's interesting about these storms, which we don't get very often, is they're very good hail producers. And I also wanted to show you a downed tree that we had a photo taken earlier this afternoon from Highland Park because of wind damage bringing down trees like this. Or the biggest that I did see the report was a 14-inch diameter tree was down. So blocked roads are possible. We could see some standing water. We're seeing zero visibility reported because of how heavy the rain is coming down. So we could see some ponding, some puddling on the roadways. Luckily, this storm is moving pretty quickly at 40 miles per hour, so it'll be out of here soon. But there is the potential that if you have to go out, which we encourage you to stay put if you live in especially Kane, Kendall, Grundy County, or mostly Kendall and Grundy County, down to LaSalle County, Will County, and to Cook County, because this is where we're having those heavier downpours and the strong damaging wind as well as the hail. So the reason why we're on right now, in case you are just joining us, is we do have a tornado warning in effect, which has had a history of tornadoes touching down reported by a trained storm spotter. So right now it is in Will County, just south of Joliet. I want to take off the severe thunderstorm warning so you can see clearly. This red box behind me, this is what we're talking about. So right along I-80 stretching south, so Joliet down to Manhattan included in this tornado warning. It is in effect. Let's see if it has been extended time-wise. Nope, until 3:30, so about 4 more minutes. We've been watching to see if we had any other reports of this tornado touchdown. The problem is that the rain is falling so hard that it's going to be difficult to see. So even though we do have a train spotter out there, it's going to be hard for him to see if that rotation is actually in contact with the ground. As far as our velocity data goes, where we look at that couplet close together, it's really been falling apart for the most part. I haven't been able to really pin down exactly where that is at this point. Tim, you either?
No, me neither, but I can kind of pinpoint where we're seeing the heaviest rain with this storm. So I can go ahead and do that, and we'll kind of zoom down to street level to give you an idea where it's really coming down hard, maybe some hail accompanied with this. But you're right, I lost the rotation, so we'll focus on this. This is just reflectivity. This just shows us the precipitation where it's falling the hardest. The red indicating really heavy rain here, so I'm zooming in. Let me zoom out first to give you your bearings. There's Chicago up to the upper right-hand portion of your screen. We'll zoom in towards Joliet, but it's near Manhattan here, along Manhattan Road here, also South Cedar Road, seeing some really heavy downpours, maybe some gusty winds there. Also, as we zoom out more towards the west, Lorenzo, Wilmington itself, seeing some heavy rain along West Peatone Road, South Chicago Road as well. And you might see a little bit of this lighter green here out ahead of this. This is probably the gust front. This is the rain-cooled air that gushes out of the front, the base of the thunderstorm, and probably could be producing some very ominous-looking clouds. But the worst of it is back here through Wilmington. The Morris area, you're seeing some heavy downpours. Let me zoom in here. Downtown Morris, along, looks like Lisbon Road, Bungalow Road there, seeing some heavy rain as well. So, yeah, we've kind of lost the rotation, which is great news from that tornado, which the warning is only going on for about 2 more minutes. And I'm hoping that since we haven't gotten any additional reports from chasers or spotters, that that's a good sign. Let's see, we had at 3:27, 2 miles north-northwest of Manuka, Kendall County, train spotter reports tornado. That was at 3:01, so that was a while ago. 2 spotters reported that a brief tornado touched down north of Manuka. Again, that was about a half hour ago, but nothing up to date since then to report to make me think that this is a tornado on the ground at the moment. So that's good news. But definitely, even though it's not producing a tornado, this is a very dangerous storm, certainly with some strong gusts. The storms are moving off towards east at about 40 to 60 miles per hour. So even without a tornado, these storms are capable of producing some damaging winds as well, and some large hail. We've got a lot of reports of that. And Caitlin's been tracking all those large hail reports throughout the afternoon. What were some of the bigger hail reports you've seen?
Well, the biggest potential was up to tennis ball size, but we just really, as far as pictures go, we saw one that was about the size of an egg in someone's hand, which could do damage, absolutely. Behind me, I did zoom in on where we do have that tornado warning in effect. So New Lenox is included, Joliet, north of Elwood, Manhattan. You can see behind me, Frankfort also included in this tornado warning right along I-80. We do have this tornado warning in effect for a few more minutes. We haven't been able to exactly nail down where that rotation is at this point. It looks like it has weakened, but we will see if they continue this warning or if they do let it expire. But as Tim's been mentioning, either way, it is a dangerous situation in locations like Will County, stretching down towards Grundy County and LaSalle County, where we have these thunderstorms rolling through because they have had a history of producing winds up to 60 miles per hour plus. It looks like this particular storm, it may be possible that there is a tornado, but they're not considered imminent at this time. So it looks like they let that expire, actually, that tornado warning at this point.
I can do another quick overview of where we're at right now. We've got this line of storms that started off around just before 1 o'clock this afternoon, way up here across Lake and McHenry County. That's where we're getting the reports initially of some trees down in and around the Crystal Lake area, some large hail in the Bull Valley area up in McHenry County. And then that line quickly swept off towards the east and southeast at about 60 miles per hour. Now what's left of it, the worst of it here in the city, has actually moved out over Lake Michigan, but we've been focusing along and south of I-80 here down towards Joliet, Manuka area, and LaSalle County as well. We're getting this little secondary line starting to develop now, some lightning reports with this as well. And Miles, we're hinting at that, and it's actually coming to fruition here. I don't think these will get severe. We'll have to watch these because the atmosphere has kind of been zapped from, or kind of took out some of the heat and moisture that was there with this first line of storms, so there's not a whole lot to work with, but we'll have to watch that. The strongest storms, though, out along and ahead of that, well down to the south. I'll take off the lightning here just to give you an idea of where the rain is coming down. And again, you can see this bigger blob. This is the storm that produced that possible tornado here down towards the Manuka area that's racing off towards the east now, approaching I-57 down across portions of eastern Will County. Let me zoom back in on this storm in particular. I'll stop the motion on it. to get our sense of where the storm is headed. There's Manhattan, Wilmington area, Wilmington Road, West County Line Road, Rockville. You're seeing some heavy downpours and probably some gusty winds. It's approaching Chicago Heights right now as well. The Tinley Park area, New Lenox, Frankfort, West Delaney Road, or Delaney Road, seeing some heavy rain as well. But at this moment, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire and no additional warnings that can see at this very moment, at least for that area.
Yep, that's right. So except for that severe thunderstorm warning that is still in effect from Will County to Grundy to Kankakee to Northwest Indiana, that's all we have going on right now. We'll break in if necessary if we have another tornado warning, and of course keep you updated with everything you need to know to keep you and your family safe.
So Tim McGill in the Fox 32 Weather Center, along with Caitlin Cody here. We're continuing to update you on what's going on with the severe weather. We had a tornado warning. We were on for a while covering that. That has since expired. That was across portions of southern Will County. We had some reports from spotters that there was actually a brief touchdown. That storm is still going on. It's not producing a tornado, at least as far as we know right now, but it is still producing some heavy rains. We also have right now a severe thunderstorm warning across some of our far southern suburbs as well. That includes Grundy, Kankakee County, Kendall County, Will County. This is in effect until 4 o'clock. I know there's a kind of a mess here on the radar, so let me get rid of some of this just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on. This is where the strongest storms are along and south of I-80. Let me pull out a little bit here to show you the heaviest rain in and around the city. We actually have a pretty good downpour going on, looks like on the north side of the city at this moment, but no warnings there. All the warnings are south of the city. And again, I'm going to try to take the warnings off here real quick and put this into motion here and give you an idea of how these storms are moving. They're moving off very quickly towards the east-southeast at about 45 to 60 miles per hour. This was a storm in question that had some signs of rotation about a half hour ago. Then it weakened, and it appears that there no longer is any, at least as far as we can tell from radar. So that's good news. That's why the warning was allowed to expire at 3:30. But we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for some of these counties to the south of us. Heavy rain at the very least. We've been getting reports of some very large hail with some of these storms, up to almost tennis ball size hail, potentially with some of these storms. And that's one issue that we're dealing with as well. And Storm Prediction Center had a good fix on this yesterday. We were talking about this. They upgraded us to the slight risk category in and around the city, saying the greatest threat was going to be probably damaging winds and also hail, and a lesser chance of a tornado, but that wasn't a zero chance. And we actually had maybe potentially a tornado in and around the Minooka area. So they got a pretty good handle on this yesterday, and now we're following up on what's actually happening here, verifying this. We've got some heavier rain south of Ottawa along and south of I-80. Let me zoom down to street level just to give you an idea where probably some of the strongest winds, certainly the heaviest rain is coming down. And I'm going to pause this. West County Line Road here. This is, looks like near Rockville. Going to the west here near Braidwood along East Reed Road, Pine Bluff Road, seeing some heavy rains as well, some gusty winds, no doubt. And as I pull back out again, I'm going to zoom back in towards the northern portion of the city here along Grand Avenue, seeing some heavy rain, some heavy downpours there. Armitage too, but nothing severe as far as we can tell. But certainly these storms have produced a little bit of at least brief flooding. We had some flood advisories earlier this evening or this afternoon up across parts of Lake and McHenry County. But the storms are moving through so quickly, the water doesn't have time to really come down heavy, or at least it doesn't have time to really flood because it's coming through so quickly. So we might get temporarily some ponding of water in some of the roadways and some kind of nuisance issues, but flooding hasn't been a big concern. But if you're driving, that is going to be a bigger concern for you. It's going to affect you for sure. But again, here's the heaviest cells. Let me just throw the lightning on here to give you an idea where we're seeing certainly some dangerous lightning and a ton of lightning here going on with these storms just to the south of the city. And again, all the way from Morris over towards Manhattan and Peatone. Caitlin, got anything new? Any new reports on some of these storms?
No new reports, but I can give you a little recap here of what we're looking at. As Tim's been mentioning, the strongest storms currently are pushing south of Chicago. We're talking about Will County down to Grundy County, LaSalle County. That's where we actually have the severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, and where we did previously have in Will County that tornado warning in effect. But what I do have highlighted behind me, which does still include our northern counties, including Lake and McHenry County, DeKalb County, Kane County, this severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 9 p.m. So we still have that potential for any of these storms to get to that severe threat level where we're having those 50, 60 mile per hour winds, and we're also seeing hail at a quarter size or bigger, which actually these storms have had a history of producing those quarter size or bigger inch hailstones. Now, I do want to say too that we are keeping a close eye, especially on this cluster of thunderstorms from Oak Forest down to Joliet, down to Bourbonnais, all the way stretching towards Morris, Braceville, and Otter Creek, because it doesn't take much. It could happen very quickly, a spin up of a tornado. So we are watching for any sort of rotation that is coming together, the velocity data that we show you where those winds are coming close together, where we have that potential tornado. As of now, we don't have any tornado warnings in effect, but we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect and the watch in effect for the entire viewing area. Let's talk more about that severe thunderstorm warning as I take off the watch that is in effect and see how long that's still here for. Let's see if we can get this warning up here.
Yeah, it's till
There it is.
4:30. You got it?
Okay, yeah. So what you're seeing behind me is highlighted in orange here. This is where we do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect. As mentioned before, this is where we have the strongest thunderstorm activity happening. So this does cover locations like Bourbonnais, stretching into Lake County, Indiana. So it's headed your direction. This system is moving around 40 to 45 miles per hour to the southeast. So I'm going to zoom out and actually put a line all along this severe thunderstorm warning so I can tell you when it will be reaching you in locations like Kankakee County into Lake and Porter, Jasper, Newton counties. So there we go. Behind me you can see around 3:59, so Crown Point, it's headed your direction. So the kids getting off the bus, perhaps make sure that you do pick them up in your car if you can, or they have something in place because these thunderstorms will be rolling through your neighborhood at that time. 406 for Winfield, 427 for Wheatfield, 440 for Rensselaer. So it is going to continue its path towards Kankakee and, as I said, into those subdivisions in Lake County down into Porter County here over the next hour or so. Tim?
Yeah, so the severe thunderstorm watch continues until 9, and Caitlin and I were talking earlier. We probably think that will be allowed to expire early, or they'll cancel it early, but it's still in effect right now. Looks like the worst of the storms are headed towards our far southern suburbs, as we've been pointing out, now headed towards Kankakee and also northern Indiana. But we have this kind of secondary line. I'm going to throw the lightning back up here to give you an idea of how powerful these storms are, and actually a lot more lightning with the southern storms than with the northern storms. But we're starting to see some lightning flashes up here. So let me zoom in and show you the area I'm talking about in particular. This is up across some of the same areas that got hit about between around 1 and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Let me take the lightning back off here and pause this. So this is McHenry in McHenry County. Along Lincoln Road there, Bull Valley Road, some heavy rain coming down back over towards Nippersink Road. Fox Lake, you're seeing some heavy rain as well, back over towards Lake Villa. This extends all the way out towards Woodstock. No severe weather reported at this moment. Just want to reiterate that. There's no warnings in effect here, but there are warnings in effect for our southern suburbs. So that's another area we're going to watch. And again, in and around the city, seeing some pretty good downpours here. Looks like along the Kennedy, along Fullerton Division. We're seeing it north side of the city. Some heavy downpours, Clark Street as well, but nothing severe as far as we can tell, but certainly causing some issues as far as commuting goes this afternoon. Not a good time for this. And again, some heavier downpours also over towards Brookfield here, Joliet Avenue. But these storms in particular that we've been watching, this is the one that it's kind of morphed into more than one, but it was the cell originally we were tracking that produced possibly that tornado near the Manuka area. So Piatone, West Beecher Road, Joliet Road, seeing some heavy downpours there as well, West County Line Road. And again, let me just throw the lightning back on here to show you this storm is pretty robust in terms of lightning, indicating it's pretty strong still, although the rotation weakened enough that the warning was allowed to expire, about 20 minutes ago. So that's good news.
Yeah.
Actually, about 10 minutes ago for parts of Will County, but we still have the warnings in effect in this area as well. But this is a pretty large area of heavy rain, gusty winds, no doubt, from Monier all the way back over towards Wilmington and back over almost towards Streeter. And as Caitlin's been pointing out, it's moving very rapidly off towards the east at about 45 to 60 miles per hour. When we saw the movement of these storms on our computer models yesterday, how quickly they're going to move, that's the first thing we thought of, was we're going to get at least damaging winds with these storms. And we couldn't rule out 1 or 2 tornadoes spinning up. So far, only reports of 1, which is good news. that we've gotten so far this afternoon. Looking to see if there's any new reports coming in. Numerous trees down. Where is this near?
In Elwood in Will County.
Okay.
Yeah, I zoomed in on that location actually. So Elwood, this is going to be just east of I-55 where we had the most recent report of 50 to 60 mile per hour winds and down trees. So just be careful out there. We have hail possible, damaging wind, down trees possible through this evening, especially for Will County down to Grundy County into northwest Indiana. Again, that watch in effect until 9 p.m. Right now, we don't have any tornado warnings. If we do have a new warning issued, we will break in as necessary and keep you updated with the latest.